So now I want to dive into the secret source of all your content marketing success. Can I get a drum roll, right? Where are the spotlights? Here we go. The secret source of all your content marketing success is you. It's you. It's your unique personality. It's your unique communication style. It's your unique presence and personality on this planet. Here's why. We live in this online society where so many things are automated, so many things are copy and paste, so many pieces of content are just kind of churn and burn and, very generic. But you are unique. There is only one you on this planet. And it is so important for business. More now than ever, because everything online just blends together in this nonstop stream of information. Remember, we're still marketing and communicating with human beings, one-on-one. And human beings, at our core, we are relational. We want to know the other person on the other end of a transaction. We want to like and trust the people we do business with. And if we don't know you, if we don't get a sense of who you are and what you're like and what you stand for and what you're passionate about, it's very hard for us to know, like, and trust you. This is the secret sauce. This is the secret recipe. It's infusing your content with your personality, bringing out the unique individual that you are into the content you create. And we're going to walk through how to do that in a little bit, but I really want to get that lesson driven home. Let's go back to Nancy Duarte's book, Resonate, for a minute. I love this. She says, there is truth in the cliche, just be yourself. She says, showing your humanness when you present is a great way to stand out. Now, she's talking about speaking live to an audience, but it's also online, presenting yourself online with your content. Note, she's studied hundreds and thousands of presentations. She says, this is a quality that's totally lacking in most presentations today, even though the entire audience consists of human beings, right? We're marketing to humans. So why are we being more human with the content we create and share? And this is critical, this last line. She says, what people are really looking for when they sit down at a presentation, or I would argue consume your content, is some kind of human connection. A human connection. And when you put yourself into your content, that's when that human connection comes across. Now, the best way to infuse your unique personality and style into the content you create is through telling personal stories. You want to have an anecdote for every occasion, okay? You always want to be able to share real life, everyday stories. And the reason is simple. Remember, stories resonate. Stories encode information. Stories make you memorable. People relate to stories. Look at this. Here's another great quote from Nancy Duarte from her book. She says, personal stories are an important part of great presentations. There will be times in your presentation when you want the audience to, here it is, feel a specific emotion. One way to do that is to talk about a time when you felt the very same emotion. Talk about that story where you failed or where you felt hopeless or whatever it is. This technique establishes a connection, that human connection through your content with someone on the other end of that device or computer. It establishes a connection between you and the audience that, and this is so important here, that is sincere and credible. Sincere and credible, right? The trust factor with online content is so important. And I love this. She says, a catalog of personal stories related to your various emotions is a helpful resource. And I want you to get over self-doubt and fear and anxiety and, I'm too busy or I'm not good at it. You are, right? If you can communicate with other human beings in some form, written, spoken word, imagery, whatever it is, however you do real life relationships, that's what we want to replicate with your content marketing. Whatever those are, we can bottle up your best self and put it out as content. Here's a perfect example. This is something I tell my business coaches and consultants all the time when they come to me and say, okay, I get it. I have to create content. How do I do it? And I say, what are, when you sit down to have coffee with a prospective client or customer, what are some things you talk about? What are some tips that you give, right? Oh, okay, well, depending on what industry they're in, if they asked me about how to do X, typically I would tell them, these are the 3 things you need to do to achieve that outcome. I say, okay, so tell me that on the phone right now. How does that work? What would you tell me if I wanted X, Y, Z and I came to you as a coach or consultant? They'd say, okay, I would tell you this, this, and this. And I say, there, you just wrote a blog post. You just created a podcast. You just did a video. All we have to do is bottle up that knowledge that you have inside and that you can speak about or write about and put it out as content. That's the secret. That's the key, is really understanding you've got it in you. You've got the talent within you. You do. I believe in you. I know you can do it. Anyone can do this. And it's so critical to being successful with your business. But the core thing I really want you to understand is it needs to be you, your voice, your stories, your anecdotes, your lessons. Because when you do that, when you share yourself with your ideal audience through the content you create, that's when you win clients and customers for life. So a very simple formula for this, to really engineer this type of approach with your marketing and the content you create, is whenever you think of a topic, so say it's a broad topic to start with, leadership or sales tips or whatever it is, SEO, I don't know, whatever it might be, think of it this way: topic plus personal story equals your content. The topic, say leadership, plus a personal story that you have related to leadership, or sales tips and a personal story you have about an experience with sales. That forms the foundation for your content. And I want it to be a personal story. Even better, really work in, and we've talked about this already throughout the training here in the program, but work in times where you can show some vulnerability, some authenticity, some transparency. Remember, people love that hero's journey. What it was like, what happened, and what things are like now. This is how you do it. And really understanding, I want you to be unique. I don't want you to copy someone else's writing style. I don't want you to copy someone else's style of communication, the way someone else speaks, the way someone else, does imagery or visuals. I want you to be unique. What are you passionate about? How do you like to talk? Remember, the idea with content marketing, the idea with putting out this content online, blog, video, visual, audio, whatever it is, we want people to get to know, like, and trust you. And the only way they can do that is if you infuse content with your personality, with yourself, with your voice, with your face, with your images, with the words that you use, with anecdotes, with personal stories. That's the great thing about you. Only you have lived your life. Only you have those unique experiences and stories that you can draw from. And then when you turn those into content, when you marry a great story from your life with a topic, leadership, sales, training, whatever it is, marry those two together, turn it into a piece of content, and you've got a winner. I'll give you one simple example of how I did this from an everyday life event, and I turned this into a podcast and a blog and all kinds of things. We had moved into our new home, and I had all this trash that I had to get rid of, and it was going to be too expensive to pay a company to come and haul it away. So I loaded up our minivan full of garbage and stuff from moving in, boxes and whatever else, and I drove out to the dump. I drove out to the county garbage dump, and it was so bad. It was about a 95-degree day, really humid, and so the dump just stunk. And here I was driving out of my van, getting out, for half an hour, unloading all this garbage into these just mountains of trash. It was so bad, right? It was smelly, and it was gross, and it was disgusting. And I just remember thinking as I drove home, that was awful. Just that trash, the stink, the negative feeling about it. And then I thought, well, wait a minute. Trash, how do I connect trash to a piece of content? Wait. Oh, I know. Stinking thinking. Negative thoughts, the trash in your head. What do you have going on with your mindset? And then I was like, okay, that's the topic. The topic is mindset plus a personal story, going to the garbage dump. And so what I did was I took the theme or the topic of, making sure you have positive thinking and a good mindset and married it to this personal story of, I drove to the garbage dump the other day and it was smelly and terrible and awful. And the lesson for me and the lesson for you is, what's our mental garbage? What kind of mental trash are you carrying around? Whether it's negative self-talk or past experiences, whether it's criticisms or critiques from other people. Are you harboring this trash? Are you carrying, negative bags full of garbage around in your head? Really relating it to, do you need to go to the mental garbage dump? That's a simple way to create a great piece of content across multiple formats from one just everyday life experience. And that's the thing, is that's a unique story. That's just something in my own life. And I want you to do that. I want you to understand every day, whatever you're going through, whatever opportunities, whatever stories, whatever incidents occur, there can be a lesson in that. There can be something there that people will benefit from learning about. So take that thing of topic plus personal story, and that becomes a piece of content. Now, when it comes to infusing your personality into your content, the most powerful ways, as it is with most types of content marketing, is having you on camera, on video, or audio through a podcast so that people can see you and hear you and get to relate to you. Next to speaking live face-to-face to someone, nothing creates that connection with you as a human than seeing you, right? Seeing you on camera, responding to your eyes, your facial expressions. So that is a great thing to do. Like I just used that example, a selfie video on location. Here I'm at a garbage dump, or here I'm at a conference, and here's something amazing I heard the speaker say, or I'm out walking the dog and I just had this thought about XYZ, and I wanted to share a quick lesson that I've learned from this. Or here I am in my office working on this new project, and I wanted to share a quick thought about this topic, right? Also, if you're more comfortable, then record audio and do podcasts and audio courses and audio books, and share these personal anecdotes, share these life lessons. You've got to become a storyteller. You're good at it. You're good at it because when you meet with friends and have coffee, or you're together with your relatives, you're at the restaurant or the bar with friends, and they ask about, oh, how did that event go? Or what happened with this client? You'll tell a story, right? You'll be able to say, this happened and then that happened and I went crazy and this came out of nowhere and oh my gosh, and then, blah, 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 blah. Like, just tell those stories. Just bring them down, bring out the lessons from those stories, and that becomes your content. I love this as well with visuals, behind the scenes photos of you every day at work, reminding people with this visual branding of, oh yeah, you're a speaker. Here you are about to take the stage at this event. Or, oh yeah, you're a coach. Here's a photo of you, with your phone in your hand, or, getting ready to write your new book, or whatever it might be. Use those visuals to remind people what it is you do. Those are little opportunities every day with social media updates and photo kind of networks where you can really share some great visuals. I also love historical real life photos, your childhood photos, photos of you from, a different era in your life and what you were doing then and what changed and what you're doing now and the lessons you've learned. And people love authenticity, especially with this type of content where we're bringing you to the forefront. Use authenticity. Use real photos of yourself. Don't use a ton of stock images. Use things that are really going to resonate with people. So as we wrap up this video, make sure you download the notes that are next to it in the download section. I'm going to link to some examples of personality-driven content that I've created or others have created, whether it's a blog, an image, video, audio, to give you a little bit of a flavor of how you can do this. But really, it's so dependent on you. It's so dependent on how you communicate, how you talk. I want you to be authentic. I want you to use your accent if you live in, Great Britain or Australia or whatever. Like, don't try to copy someone else. If you're not gregarious, over the top, yelling into the microphone like me, don't try to copy that. Just be who you are. Remember, the more you can be authentic and transparent with your style of communications, the words you use, the way you talk, the stories you tell, the more you just stay true to who you really are, A, the more you'll stand out in the marketplace, B, that will make you unique and memorable, and C, most importantly, it will attract people who like your style of communication. It will attract people who like the way you think. It will attract people who say, that's my kind of person. That's the kind of person I want to know more from. That's the kind of person I want to do business with. I like the way they think. I like the way they talk. And this will also repel people who aren't a good fit for you and your business. That's the beauty of content marketing, is it does the sifting for you. It does the sorting for you. So get after it. I want you to think about what are some topics that you want to create content on, and then what are some personal stories. Even just create a little list of that. Topic plus personal story. Write a few down, and then start thinking about how to turn those into content and what type of content you're most comfortable doing. Video, audio, visuals, written, any and all of the above. All right, get after it, and I'll see you on the next video.